A fire that forced thousands to flee the community of Jasper, Alberta overnight is now burning just 12 kilometers south of that Alberta town.
We packed up our stuff and within 20 minutes we were on the road trying to get out. I mean, we barely had enough gas to make it to Valemount. And a lot of people didn't make it.
It was really smoky and a lot of ash in the sky. I didn't get out of town till 2 in the morning.
Last night, 10,000 residents and tourists were ordered to pack up and leave Jasper in 5 hours or less. And there was only one way out, west, towards British Columbia, forcing vehicles to a crawl amid heavy smoke. There are actually multiple wildfires burning in or around Jasper National Park, and officials say shifting winds threaten to force the flames closer towards the community. For the latest on the region, Todd Loewen is Alberta's Minister of Forestry and Parks, and he joins me now. Minister, it's good to see you. Thank you for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
What's the latest you can tell us about these fires? How close is it to Jasper and how fast is it moving?
Yeah, so we're kind of taking it day by day and actually hour by hour when we look at the fires around Jasper. Jasper and Parks Canada, they have their own firefighting teams that are working independently from Alberta Wildfire. But when it comes to helping out each other, we're there for Parks Canada. They've been there for us when we've needed help, and we're there for them too. So we have people embedded in their teams. We have equipment working there too, and we stand ready to help any way we can.
Well, one of the reports I read, Minister, was that the fire was about 12 kilometers away from the town of Jasper itself. I mean, how fast is it moving? How are the winds affecting it? I mean, what is the likelihood it might actually reach the town at this point, sir?
It's really hard to say. When we the last modeling that I seen on this, it said that it would be possibly 4 days away is probably the the best guess at the time, and that would be fairly conservative the guess actually. And so these models change all the time when depending on what the weather conditions are doing. We're hoping to see a little bit of moisture there, and if any amount of moisture would make a difference to slow down the fire. And of course, we have the suppression efforts that Parks Canada is working on, again, that we're helping with. And those suppression efforts should make a difference too. We're just, again, hoping for the best. And, out of abundance of caution, Parks Canada and Jasper have decided to do the evacuation.
Okay, so 4 days away based on that modeling. So that gives us a sense of how much time you have to either have the conditions change or to bring it under control. And meanwhile, Jasper residents and visitors at the park, they were told to evacuate late last night. So how did that process go? How is it looking right now? And what does it look like in terms of their ability to get to safety from Jasper?
Yeah, so again, when it comes to Parks Canada and Jasper, they have their own teams that work on this. We help where we can, again, with some of the modeling and everything. And when these things happen, they happen very quickly, and there's a lot of uncertainty right off the bat. A lot of times when there's a fire starts like this, there's an excessive amount of smoke, so it's near impossible sometimes to tell exactly where the fire is. And with the amount of smoke that can come out of those fires, there'll be restrictions to using planes or helicopters to be up in the air around them too. So again, there's a lot of uncertainty and things happen very fast. And again, there's always an abundance of caution to make sure that we protect human life to the best of our abilities.
I mean, unfortunately, Alberta has a lot of experience dealing with wildfires these last couple of years. I mean, do you have enough space for people who have to leave? I know some have had to go over to British Columbia, which is just right there, close to Jasper. I mean, how are people being looked after? Do they have places to go where they can be fed and sheltered while this is under control?
Yeah, so that was the best route for people to go to, was to go to the west, because there was the fire that was to the northeast. And so there was a decision made to move people to the west. People moving to the west can circle around back into Alberta to Calgary or Grand Prairie. Those are kind of the closest points to get back in to Alberta. So I'm sure some people are deciding to stay in BC and then waiting this out too. But again, we have places for people to go in Alberta, but it's a bit of a circular route to get there.
Okay, so help me understand some of the confusion from last night. The alert came last night and originally said the fire was 5 hours from town. This was later clarified to say residents had 5 hours to evacuate the town. Those mean two very different things. I mean, how did this happen?
You know what? I'm not. That wasn't a decision that was made by Alberta Wildfire in discussions that was made with Alberta Wildfire on that. That was decisions made with Parks Canada and Jasper, and what exactly that confusion was, I really don't know.
Okay, so it seems like there's some jurisdictional issues at play here, Minister. Like, is someone taking central command of this? Because I know this is within the park, but it's also citizens of Alberta and residents of Alberta, and there's been this communication issue, which, you know, means very different things and could have affected how people responded to things in a very difficult situation. I mean, how are you going to harmonize these jurisdictional lines which seem to be at play in this fire?
Yeah, so it's an interesting the way it's developed over time is definitely Parks Canada have their own firefighting equipment. They have their own expertise. Currently, we have some of Parks Canada staff helping us with wildfires in other parts of Alberta, and of course, we help Parks Canada with wildfire when they have fires in their area too. It's probably similar to working with a different province, even because again, different provinces have their own wildfire fighting teams, and we do too. And again, Parks Canada has their own very experienced, very professional people that work on wildfire, and Alberta has theirs too. And again, we work as closely as we can with each other and share resources. Again, Parks Canada currently is sharing resources with us, and we're sharing resources with them. But there is a different decision-making process that is individual between the province and Parks Canada.
Okay. Meanwhile, there are 170 active wildfires in your province, 50 of them which are classified as being out of control. I know Minister Ellis, who handles emergency response in your government, spoke with Minister Sajjan today. Has there been a request for federal help yet at this point, or do you think you can manage it even though here we are with months to go in wildfire season and we're seeing some pretty big numbers already?
Yeah, so no, we've been calling for help from across Canada and then around the world too, actually now. So we do have a lot of resources right now from, again, Parks Canada and different provinces that are helping us right now. Earlier in the season, we were sending resources to other provinces because of their need, and now we're in need, so we're requesting help back. And so that's a process that's used every year when things get very serious in different jurisdictions. And so this is something that's common. We have an organization that we reach out through that can line up help from across Canada and around the world. And that's the same process that the other jurisdictions use too.
Okay, just one more question to help me understand this jurisdictional challenge. Like, I appreciate that Jasper's inside a national park and that there's different responsibilities there because of the federal government's role there, but they're still citizens of Alberta. They're still residents of Alberta, the people who've been asked to evacuate. So what sort of aid exactly is on the table right now from the government of Alberta to the residents of Alberta who happen to live inside the national park? Like, what assistance are you offering to the people who've had to flee?
Yeah, so we're helping with the evacuation as far as making sure they have places to go and setting up those evacuation centers. That's something that's done through Public Safety Emergency Services. And so we're helping there. We're helping out with on the ground with firefighting equipment and personnel. And so there's obviously a close relationship. There's no, Jasper is a town in the province of Alberta, and we know that's the case, and we want to help where we can, and we'll help all we can as we go through this situation. But again, Parks Canada does again have their own firefighting equipment, their own firefighting personnel, their own firefighting team and strategy as they move forward. Again, just like any other jurisdiction in Canada.
Okay, well, Todd Loewen, I hope either the weather turns or the flames die down and everybody gets out of there safe. That's Todd Loewen, Alberta's Minister of Forestry and Parks. Thank you for your time today, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.